Good morning, teachers, students, and guests. Welcome to S2 Spotlight. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Betty.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Kemi.
We are the hosts for today's program, where we'll take a look at one of the hottest in our world today, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the SDGs.
The UN Sustainable Development Goals consist of 17 goals that were first adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. Their intent is to push countries to address many of the major issues our world faces at present.
Being such a large topic, we are going to break our show into 5 segments. For this first segment, we have invited our dear panelists to come discuss their thoughts about the Sustainable Development Goals as a whole.
In the second to fourth segment of our show, we are going to take a closer look at the 3 areas of the SDGs: the environment, the economy, and society and human rights.
For our final segment, we have asked our last group of panelists to bring their topic home and share their thoughts on Taiwan and the SDGs.
Now let's give a warm welcome to our first panelists, Renee, Doris, Chloe, Sandy, Sophie, Stacy, Nicole, and Selena. On the topic of Sustainable Development Goals, for this segment, our lovely hosts Kami and Stephanie will be moderating the talk.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us on S2 Spotlight.
For this segment of the show, we are gonna discuss the SDGs and what they help to achieve. So, let's begin by looking at what the Sustainable Development Goals are. How would you explain them to those who are unfamiliar with them?
Well, let me explain it to you. In 2015, the United Nations announced the Sustainable Development Goals in order to help the world have a better future, like achieving no poverty, slowing down climate change, and promoting gender equality. And there are 193 countries of United Nations and Taiwan have agreed to try to achieve the goals by 2030.
I think it is an indicator of social progress. The 70 goals include 169 targets. Each of these targets focusing different aspects of economy, environment, and social needs that needs to improve in order for our world to be a better place to live.
Wow, so the goals of the United Nations are very comprehensive. I'm looking for the goals right now. And the last goal, goal 17, partnerships for the goals. It is quite different from all the other goals. Could you help us understand the purpose?
Talking about SDG in many parts of the world, such as on land, in the sea, in the sky. SDG 17 let the world cooperate and bring countries closer, shorten them between each other, and work together towards a common goal.
Goal 17 is partnership of the goals. This goal wants to get us together. We can say this is the center of the goals because getting each other to solve the problem can be faster, and this can faster to be the problem become smaller. In 2015, the United Nations want to solve the global warming problem, so they get 195 countries to reduce carbon emissions.
So, Goal 17 is for every country to cooperate together in reaching all the other goals.
Right, you totally got it. Then the main question on everyone's mind, I think, is why is achieving the SDGs important? And what dangers do we face if we are able to achieve them?
Reaching the SDGs is important because those goals are helping our life, environment become better. The 17 goals are there to help the world overcome problems that as a race we need to face. If we don't, our environment, climate, and economy will become worse and worse. Then in the end, we can't have a good life.
Because the 70 SDGs are iconic goals to give us and our planet a better future. Everyone has responsibility to protect our Earth. But if nobody wants to face climate change, our food will decrease and water scarcity. War will be happen and people will conflict with food or water.
Oh, that's an important mission for everyone.
Yeah, if you don't take this goal serious, it may lead to disaster.
Oh, kinda scary, but I'm curious then. These goals came out in 2015. Has the world made any significant progress towards reaching any of them?
For Taiwan, the biggest progress is same-sex marriage legalized. Taiwan is the first country that made this legal. This is our big achievement on reducing inequalities. This makes different sexuality peoples have the same right. In another area like North America, the countries Canada, US, and Mexico are already established. Hope other countries haven't done this can do the same.
Also, SDG 4, gender equality. Now, there are many countries with female presidents in the world, such as Finland, New Zealand, and Germany. Take Philippines for example. It's the first country in Asia to have a female president, and Taiwan is the second. So I think gender equality is gradually improving around the world. Additionally, SDG 13, climate change. Denmark now ranks among the first place in climate change. It emits less greenhouse gases per unit of GDP than any other country, at only 5.4 tons of carbon dioxide per capita from fossil fuel energy, down from 11.8 in 2006.
Wow, as a woman, I'm glad to hear there has been good progress towards gender equality.
Yeah, there's also been progress towards other goals too.
You're right, but there have been setbacks as well, like COVID.
Yeah, I know COVID has been a big challenge for everyone. Has it impacted SDG progress?
COVID-19 had affected progress, such as poverty, hunger, economy, education, and health. I'm talking about health. The virus stays everywhere, so a lot of disinfection is required, and some health systems collapse. Although a lot of medical resources have been used, many people still died. Even among vaccinated, the number of deaths was still high, so it also affects good health and well-being.
In the same manner, COVID-19 hit the world's economy very hard. The world's economy began to fluctuate. SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth was really impacted by it. COVID has also affected the problem of hunger, such as employees, because everyone cannot go out to work. And they cannot go out to work, they don't have money. And they don't have money, they can't buy food. They can't buy food and someone's dying and someone starved.
Many people can go to school because of illness, although they have online class now. Stu- uh, but many areas don't have internet. About Taiwan, although it has internet, but students in online class maybe cannot focus on teacher, so the equality of education is decreasing. About economy, because of COVID-19, many countries were reducing trade. I think the most serious is tourism industry, because the government limits are going abroad.
COVID-19 has just affected the progress of many SDGs goals.
So, after all this discussion, the big question we all have is do you believe the global community will be able to achieve each of the goals?
No, I think it's very difficult. Let's look at goals is clean water and sanitation. We can't have clean water for everyone because of the climate change or didn't rain for a long time. In irrigation, that means the drought and the climate in there was very hot, so they can't collect water easily, and that means the work, so the land will be polluted. I disagree with Selena. I think if every country can cooperate and work on these targets, it can be possible. To prove it, we have done very well in MDGs, which was the UN announced the 8 goals that we needed to achieve from 2000 to 2015. The basic concept is very similar to SDGs, so we are able to do this.
I think it's difficult to achieve because SDGs have too many goals for everyone to focus on. In 2000, SDGs only has 8 goals, but SDGs has 17 goals. Also, I think the weather factor is almost affect each goal. For example, weather affect agriculture. Agriculture affects food. Food affect poverty and hunger. And the weather is getting worse now. So I think it's difficult to complete it at one time.
Now, we know that before the SDGs, there were the MDGs.
Yeah, and for MDGs, many countries achieved them.
That's great, but to accomplish the new goals, everyone needs to do it together, right?
Right. So what recommendations would you give to the people here in regards to the SDGs?
Many of these goals are there to help us maintain the environment we live in, the Earth. We should face it and start to put environmental protection behavior in our daily life, such as turning off light when you're leaving, or bring your own reusable bag when you go to buy something. Imagine that the classroom is the Earth and we are all residents. If we don't clean it and maintain together, it will gradually be unsuitable for us to stay in. But if we clean it together, the environment can last forever.
We all want to make the world better, but not enough people are taking action. If you can act for your daily life, I think we need to promote these 70 goals. Maybe we can motivate action. If it's successful, activity will also be strongly promoted so that more people will participate in the action.
We are out of time for this segment of our show today. We would like to thank all our panelists for joining us.